Hello everyone, Nerdlian here and welcome back to the Edain Mod, now in 4.6. It's so exciting. A few notes before we start this. Still feeling a little ill. Hopefully won't affect me too much. But if I just turn off, pause the game or something because I have a bit of a coughing spree, you'll know why. And this video isn't going to be like most videos where I'm just rushing to win. This is going to be a in-depth overview of I'm going to try to go through everything of the Misty Mountains. So hopefully it'll be all good. And hopefully I can show off almost everything in a good manner. Because there's a lot to go through. And depending on the AI, not a lot of time to do it. So this is your fortress. The Fortress of the Misty Mountains. You get 4 build plots. The smallest number of plots that any faction has ever had for a fortress. This is meant to be the big place with walls, by the way, if you hadn't guessed. And it's only got 4 plots. And you get to build 3 different buildings. The loot mine, which is your money building. The monster cage, which is like your siege works. And the ruin, which is your goblin recruitment. I built 3 loot mines because you want a lot of money as the goblins. But also because they reduce the cost of structures. So we just built this ruin for 45 less, I think, or something around there. Then the ruin makes your Moria goblins. So what makes the goblins so unique in their approach is that they don't just sit in their base. They expand their base constantly. And we're up against Rohan. Okay. Gonna build a tower in preparation. Gonna throw down the bats. See if that weakens them a little. I still want this. I want to take this clan steading and get rid of it. Get some more goblins from here as well. Oh, they just drafted. They're going to destroy that loot mine. It's fine. Worst case scenario, I just have to rebuild it. So now we've got a pioneer. And he can build either a Gundabad tunnel or a Goblin Town tunnel. Your first tunnel is 250. Any tunnel after that slowly gets more and more expensive. I'll go over that when we get to it. Going to demolish that for an extra 7 at the end. And yeah, just try and get them gone. So, what's the difference between Moria goblins and the goblins we get from these goblin caves? Because there is actually a difference. The only difference is that the Moria goblins we get from our base have poison. The ones we don't get from the base don't have poison. That's it. That's the only difference. That's all you need to know about them. That one has poison and one doesn't. But poison doesn't work the same way it did in BFME 2 for the archers. For the warriors, it works exactly the same. But for archers, it's now just click and then they have poison or arrows for the next few volleys. And obviously, these goblin warriors just have the same as in BFME 2, cause damage over time. It's a pretty decent amount of damage as well. It's not a small amount of damage. Now I'm going to get the Chieftain, our first major hero. Wow, Rohan is spamming those peasants. Let's retreat. Bring them to our base, where we've got some defences, and we're about to get a hero. Also going to throw down the drum of the Misty Mountains, because I want the left side of the power tree before anything else. So we get extra movement speed. Bait them into the base. And then tear them apart. Let's keep getting more gobbos. And we've now got the Chieftain, who, if you hadn't guessed, is technically Gorkill the Goblin King. Or who he was. Or who he is now, even. So what I just built there from the Goblin Town tunnel is the slave hole. What you get from Goblin Town are 3 different buildings as well. But you build them around the base in a from the tunnel in a freestyle manner, similar to how you would build walls in BFME 2. It would be an extension of the main building. You got the slave hole, which is your money makers. You got the barracks, which makes you goblin towners, and you got the loot horde, which gives you extra bonuses. It's kind of like the marketplace for yeah, it's basically just the marketplace for Gondor. And yeah, these drums here, while they're active, sorry, no, not while they're active, while they're alive, they have this aura of speed. And then, when the troll is drumming it, we get 30% extra damage. So it's a situational ability. When it gets damaged, the troll goes away, and you lose the damage. But you still keep the movement speed, and its existence is important for something else in the future. We'll get into that eventually. Gonna build 2 more slave holes quickly. And how much space do we have left? Yeah, that's the weird thing with the Goblin Town tunnel. You have to be careful where you place it, because you might not be able to build anything from it. Because there's this front bit here you can't build in front of. You've got to build around where the scaffolding currently exists. And I kind of messed that up a bit. So we might not actually be able to build anything else without demolishing something first. That's fine though. The slave holes are meant to be the largest building that you've got there anyway. Let's now get the goblin... Oh no, I need command points first. Let's get that. And let's do what goblins do best and surround the enemy. Have some of them redirect themselves to those peasants. And let's also, since we can still get him, let's get the Hunter, who is our scout hero. And the only scout hero currently that is permanently mounted. And I'm not including the scouts of the Iron Hills, because they don't count. They're something completely different, since they technically don't remain a single entity for long if you're playing properly. So who's the Hunter and what does he do? Well, as you might have noticed, the fact we've got the Chieftain, the Hunter. A lot of the Goblin heroes don't actually have specific names. Same with some other heroes. One of the only heroes that actually has a name is Warg and Smaug. We'll get to both of them in time. But for now, I want more Gobbos, because we're going to be dealing with Rohan Cav soon enough. Let's view the closest lair, because that's his second ability, Tracker. Don't know which... Oh, view the Warg lair, right. So, what can Gorkil do with his second ability, the Troll Slayer? I'm going to go over that one soon, it's important. So this arrow is a beast killer, and weakens them as well. So it's quite important to use when you're trying to take out an early lair. Oh, we'll get out there. There we go, we walked into some of our pikes, I think. Or he just got swarmed. Both things are eligible for the goblins. Almost got the Great Goblin. Going to get another pantry since we've got the money for it. We've got a bigger extra boost of money. Let's run them over. And let's build this camp here. So, technically, on camp plots, this is the base you'll get for the goblins. You don't get a larger camp. This is all you get. And it is quite simple in its design, but it makes sense, because otherwise you'd have a lot to work with. Okay, second plot, we're going to build a Gundabad tunnel at the back of the base, so it's safe from enemy siege, which we haven't seen yet, which is a good sign. Oh, and don't ask me where those wolf howls come from. I honestly have no idea. I wish I knew. Okay, 3 power points. There we go. Pact of Hatred. One of the best powers for the goblins is Untamed Allegiance and the Pact of Hatred abilities together. So Untamed Allegiance gives you the ability to spawn any of the lairs you can make, which is goblins, spiders, wargs, or troll. It's a random effect. You have no idea what you're going to get. Whatever you do get, it's normally going to be pretty good. There's an AO in there. Let's fall back and just build a bunch of towers everywhere. Thankfully, with this base, we actually get towers. If we were fighting on a camp start, we'd have no defenses for our base. It looked just like this, and it's getting swarmed. Oh no, that was a lot of money I invested in that. It's fine. We take it step by step. Let's get ourselves a brood mother so I can say I made one. And more gobbos, please. Yeah, I can't stop them from destroying us, but I can slow them down. They're doing it quite slowly and inefficiently. Okay, if they're walking into the base, just let them die. They won't last long. Split the forces up a little. As some of them focus gambling. Thankfully, with the goblins, your economy doesn't really fall off. Unless you're really in a bad position. Which this kind of technically is. But we'll be fine. We're going to get Bolg, and he'll make all our problems disappear. Let's just push into them bit by bit. Okay, they're now making siege. Our problems have just escalated. Leave this camp to burn. There's the brood mother, who is followed by her entourage of deadly spiderlings, who like to go off on their own a bit, and are very good for distracting enemies. But, as all spiders are, very weak to pikes. Let's fall back because they've just summoned Haldia. Yeah, we lost that, but that's fine. Built it thinking I could hold it, but then the AI decided to get everything out that they had. And they're now making cav. Okay. And long range siege. Ugh. Don't like that. Good thing about Spider Broodmother is she weakens enemy cav. Although she is also very weak to cav. Good thing she's cheap, otherwise I'd be very annoyed with her performance. Having those Galafrim there is just making it impossible to do anything. Got to find a way around and get rid of that siege. Okay, Pikes, that's your job. We're also going to get a Tunnel of the Deep. This power, you think looks like an undermine, but it's not. It's quite the opposite, actually. Instead of making you access to a tunnel network, it just spawns units for you for free. Which is really valuable when you're being swarmed like this. It also works when you're ahead. It works in both regards, when you're doing well and when you're not doing well. Speaking of not doing well, let's build a barracks here so we can get some good orcs from Gundabad, like these guys here. Because what we also want is Warg Riders to deal with this siege that keeps spawning. Okay, Pact of Hatred is back up again, but I don't think there's any lairs left alive on the map. Let's get the hunter and find out. Oh no, there is. There's these Wargs here. I'm actually going to use that and get some Wargs now. These units just fall in and destroy something, since they've only got a temporary life. But you can see they've been spawning for at least a minute now, and it's been a lot of free units. That can deal significant damage if they're allowed to roam freely. The hunter has returned. Any more wild lairs on the map? If there are, he would have announced them to us. I don't think there are anymore. What power do we want next? We're probably going to want our scavenger power, because that extra money just means less problems. Because I'm going to want to build another Goblin town and show off all of Goblin Town's arsenal. Get the Gundabad Forge, and then get some elite orcs. We'll get the Warg Riders soon. But since the Onagers are currently all destroyed, we don't need to worry about long-range fighting. We need to worry about close-range combat. Let's get Gorkil onto his sword. When he goes onto his sword, he loses his monster-slaying arrow and instead gets his totem. Obviously a callback to Gorkil the Goblin King. Can I build any extra buildings? No, I can't. I'm going to have to wait for them to destroy something. That's fine. Absolutely fine. Also going to build another goblin town down here, which I think I will do. Here we go. If you're wondering why we can get banner carriers, that's because Bolg's first ability when he enters the battlefield, all your units are now capable of recruiting banners. It's a really good ability to have. Okay, our command point's been reached again. Let's just get more. Let's get more twice, actually. Now, I did mention slightly about tunnel networks, but you might have noticed these loot piles can't be occupied. That's because your citadels are now your places where the tunnel network is connected to. And the Goblin King can make more accesses to the tunnel network. So unlike the dwarves, where it's more rigid and structured around the mines and the undermine power, now you only have access to it through your citadels and the Goblin King, and technically some of his subjects, but we'll get into that when the time comes. So, first one was 250, second one was 1,000, third one is 4,000, but it'll be worth it. When we want it, it'll be worth it. I just built the Pioneer just so I don't forget about it in the near future. Now we've got 5 power points. We're going to get the scavenger power, which is quite simple. We now just make money for every kill. And you'll notice on some powers when I get into them, they actually mention how it's additional resources. It doesn't actually mix with scavenger. It's the opposite of scavenger in a way. It's the opposite of old scavenger with other scavenger effects, because they now do overlap. And instead of, like, say, making 3 from a peasant, we could make 6 from killing a peasant with certain heroes. Bolg's third ability is his elites. He summons a permanent unit of pretty devastating orcs, which are technically your elite units. You don't have any other linked elite units. Oh yeah, his second ability I didn't mention. He and banner carriers deal splash and knockback damage. You may not realise how powerful that is until you read the fine print or notice it in action, but it is really good. And we just got a troll there. That's going to be access to more trolls. That's good. Oh, another thing to notice about these lairs that we are making, unlike the lairs that we just take over, they drop money. The ones we make do not when they get destroyed. We don't get any money from them. Oh no, the hunter died again. Good thing he's cheap and I don't really care about him. Yeah, I think I kill off the hunter more times than I kill off Drowlin. And that's saying something, because I kill off that boy too much. Finally, we have Smaug, which I'm not disappointed with him. The fact he's a flying entity that can also land, that has that innate ability, and also is very bloody powerful on the ground as much as he is in the skies, makes him difficult to make any better. But if we do find the ring in this battle, I'll try to explain why I think his ring hero form is actually worse. And similar to... and it's similar to, in a way, how the Arnold heroes for that can get the ring are also in a bad position. Just because the main thing they do is weaken your own units to make them stronger. Oh, there is actually a difference between them. One just doesn't get to pick up a tree. I miss just finding trees and picking them up as trolls. Battlefield 1 was a good time for trolls. They were stupidly powerful. Now, a lot of the Great Goblin's abilities I haven't really mentioned yet, because they mostly revolve around 1. Finding enemy structures to destroy. 2. They require Goblin Towners. And 3. There's then this beautiful thing, the loot cart. Loot cart gets 3 different abilities upon getting it, and once you choose one, it will start collecting that item. It can either be flesh, it can be gold, or it can be equipment. If you collect flesh, once the loot cart reaches level 2 up to level 4, any units in its vicinity will be healed. Second thing is loot gold. So again, same thing, can go up to level 4, can only release it once it reaches level 2. But once you release it, you get a certain amount of treasure chests on the ground, each worth 500. We've got 4,000 in the bank. I'm going to get Smaug and the Hunter. So yeah, once it reaches level 4, I'll show it off the money you can make from this. This loot cart of the Goblin King, if it was an earlier power, I'd say the Goblin King would be too powerful. But the fact is his final ability, and he levels up pretty quickly, makes him a good go-to hero. But it's actually quite a bit I haven't mentioned yet. There's so much nuance to these units that I haven't been able to show off yet. And this faction overall. And hopefully I'll get to be able to do that. It's just that Rohan's Swarm is not easy to counter until you actually have a full fighting force. And yeah, they're coming out of the woodwork here now. Let's just summon that so they can't keep throwing stuff at me. Oh yeah, got to be careful with the loot cart. It can be destroyed. It is very valuable to me. It is very precious to me. And let's get... I'm going to get the Eternal Strife. Eternal Strife can have 3 different activatables. It's 3 different activatables. It's similar in function to what you had in Edain 3.8 for the goblins. We had the choice of the three different focuses of who's going to be the king of the goblins, king of the Misty Mountains. Yeah, that was 1,500 gold we just got for dismantling that loot cart's gold. Again, yes, that's really bloody good. Okay, let's just build up again. What was I talking about? Sorry, I've completely forgotten. So, Eternal Strife, that's it. You choose one of the citadels of a goblin faction, either Moria, Goblin Town, or Gundabad. If you choose Moria, all your poison damage is tripled. If you choose Goblin Town, the units deactivate buildings with melee attacks, and slave hole generate more money. So that's what you want to do when you're in a time where you need more economy. But you can also go for Gundabad, which units gain experience faster. If you want a full elite army, you want Gundabad. If you want just quick damage against units, you want Moria. If you want value and just good money, you want Goblin Town. I almost always pick Goblin Town. But when you do that, these goblin lairs also are able to recruit your units from that point. My loot cart's getting destroyed. Army, stop it now. Don't let them destroy my beautiful loot cart, which I'm now going to load with equipment, which is kind of pointless since whole army is already heavily armoured. I mean, not the goblins are. So yeah, when you load with equipment, you're giving your units around them heavy armour. And the more you level it up, the larger the radius. Oh my god, they destroyed a loot hole. What? Okay, they're dead now. I can now build the loot hoard. Or can I? Okay, I guess I can't. I just don't know anything anymore. Everything I know is a lie and Smaug is burning. Yeah. Smaug is very weak to... I should have put Smaug on the ground. When I saw those archers, I should have put Smaug on the ground. That's my fault. Let's make another lair in his honour. It's a goblin lair. He's ashamed. These caves can also make, for some reason, goblin pikemen. Don't know why the main goblin tunnels can't do that, but I'm not going to complain much about it. It's not that important. Raid, I guess, if we have any goblin towners on the map, they do extra damage. And yeah, that's map wide. Oh, I forgot to mention, Goblin Town's passive is on the battlefield. Goblin Towners can then make more Goblin Towners. But also his abilities have a large range because they give him experience as well when you use it. Which makes him very valuable in a pinch. Well, actually, no, not in a pinch. He's just useful, full stop. He is value incarnate, the Goblin King. He's not a great fighter, which symbolises how he was in the movie. But definitely not someone you want to get on the bad side of, because he will summon a literal horde of goblins to kill you. They've got an outpost down there, and I want to get rid of it. Let's get those upgrades for everyone. Bolg, his level 7 ability. I've not quite figured it out yet, but it says orc troops form a well-ordered formation in which their armor increases by 30%. Firstly, it specifies orcs. And with like the Great Goblin, it specifies goblin pillagers. With Gorkill's ability, it specialises goblin archers and warriors. I haven't actually gone over Gorkill yet, but we'll go to that soon. See, I don't know if it means just these orcs of Gundabad or not, because whenever I try to use it, it doesn't have like an aura around units that are just surrounding Bolg. So I'm a bit confused with what that's all about. I'm sure with time I'll figure it out. Or one of you can tell me. But I personally have no idea. Oh no, they demolished... Somehow I'm not able to make that anymore. That's sad. Get another loot mine on a monster cage, just so I can show off the monsters. Okay, let's get the Goblin Town Barracks. Let's try and get this right this time. Gonna have maximum value, then a loot horde next to it. And a bunch of slave holes next to them. Which you can actually attach to walls as well. To have that extra bit of scaffolding. Like I said, it's literally just the same design as the walls. Okay, we've now got 10 power points. Let's show off the Beasts of the Ered Mithrin. Which, if you hadn't guessed, is our dragon lair. Smaug has returned. And I've got him a nice gift of peasants. Lovely killing. Oh, I'll go over the Troll Brothers soon. Again, there is so much about this faction, and it's been like forever since a new faction's been introduced to Edain that it's difficult to actually explain everything. But don't you fret, I'll go over everything eventually. Oh no, these do drop money. Huh. Well, now I learned the lairs that you do make from Untamed Legions do drop money. But it's more likely the enemy's going to get that money because they're the ones destroying it. You can't destroy them unless you choose to. So I guess you can technically do that too. Decide to not make them your friends and just take them over. Okay, let's get those plunderers, see if they exist. Oh, Smaug coming down. Okay, so I've shown off all the units basically. They all of them, every unit you make can get Forge Blades, Heavy Armor, and Banner Carriers. So unlike Mordor, you do get those upgrades. But unlike most factions, they're actually cheaper to get for all your units. I think it's like 150 for both Forge Blades and Scavenged Armor, and 75 gold for Banner Carriers. So again, super cheap. But that incentivizes the point that you're not a civilized faction that is just getting these from a blacksmith. These are just rugged weapons you have scavenged from your foes. Mostly the dwarves. But yeah, you can get them a lot cheaper than most factions, but also because you can't decrease the cost of them at any point. Where some factions like Gondor can build a blacksmith, Enlargers can get the Regian Forge. They have ways of discounting their upgrades, but you don't. So, what next to go over? The Goblin Drummer. It's basically just a troll drummer, except it can't attack and it gives damage and armor. That's literally it. I wish there was more to it, but there's not. So let's go quickly over the monster cage. It has a special thing you can get called Improved Training. In Depths of Moria, the Orcs perfected the training of all sorts of monsters. All drakes, trolls, giants, broomwolves, and mountain wargs reach level 2. So that means any unit you make, any monster from a spider lair, this drake lair, from here, and your other outpost, the fissure, where you get mountain giants from, they all just get that extra upgrade. They do a little bit of extra damage, have a little bit of extra health. It's all just good value. Smaug is over here destroying a farm, because why not? Smaug does what he wants, do not question him. Okay, Untamed Legions again. Let's roll the lottery, and what do we get? We get a Warg lair, which we can get this mountainous Warg, which is a single entity. It's not really that impressive. It's probably one of the more disappointing things that you can get. Yeah, these drums here, for tier 1, it's really good. It's really bloody good. Load this with flesh. Oh yeah, the reason I got this back again is because I lost it. It got destroyed somewhere along the way, I don't know when. But it did. So I just rebuilt it. Gonna put on a separate command group this time. As you reach the enemy stronghold. Now, I built this, I haven't done anything with it yet. You got one ability out of everything you can do. That's right, we technically have Dragon Strike again. Except you can use it from this building, and it is, I don't believe, it is tied to all of them. So for every dragon nest you make, you can use that ability for each and every one. Again, some testing is yet to be done. But when I use that on a Lothlorien base, it destroyed the citadel. So imagine how useful that is going to be in other situations. Okay. Nose is getting a little bit runny. I want to quickly show off as much as possible before we end this. So, the Chieftain. I haven't talked about his passive yet, because with every attack he does, he has on his bow, he has a 4% chance of summoning a unit of Goblin Archers. But then, when he is on his sword, he has a 10% chance of summoning Goblin Fighters. And obviously he only has to use his sword when he reaches level 3, otherwise he has his bow and his troll slaying arrow. And then when he's on his sword he gets a skull totem. Fourth ability, reinforcements from the deep. You click on a barracks, sorry, not a barracks, a citadel, and for a time any units you lose get re-recruited from there, I think. It's a weird one. I've personally never enjoyed it, even when it was for a custom create hero ability. It doesn't really make sense to me how it works. But its wording is, for a short time, all fallen members of hordes in the vicinity of a selected tunnel are replaced by new warriors. So you have to be near here, and then, say like a goblin horde, a goblin died, one comes out from there. So I get it is a more of a defensive ability. Similar to you can say it's similar to Baragon's ability, but it has to be specifically near a goblin tunnel. And then finally he has Overwhelming Legions, where his chances of spawning goblins has just increased. But not just that, also, whenever we attack, we don't just get normal orc rabble, we get heavily armoured orcs, or gobbos. So he's pretty good with doing that. Already spoken about the Great Goblin in light detail. His first ability, the Raid Command, can be used from afar and is used on enemy resource building. All allied units around the building gain 50% extra damage. Is really bloody good. But it has to be used on an enemy resource building. It cannot be used anywhere else. That's the only caveat to it. Other than that, perfect ability. Let's get the water in the water. No, let's get the worm so I can get the balrog as well. Just want to keep these manlings at bay while I'm destroying everything. Destroying everything they love. Second ability is the tunnel diggers, which makes again access to the mining network. If you have an army in the mines, you can then throw them out. But fairly certain, I haven't checked it myself. I should actually do that now. Actually, you can only put 5 units into the mine network, similar to you're limited to 5. I can't put any more units in now. Yeah, that's 5 units. So exactly the same as the mine network for the dwarves. You only get 5 units in the network, but obviously if you throw them out quick enough, you can get an entire army in and out of your base, for example. Look at our economy, by the way. That's just from having 2 goblin towns. This camp which only has 1 resource building, and the fissure. But yeah, all our buildings make money, basically. Except for direct military buildings from our base. All of these troll lairs here that I've been building from settlements, they make money. Oh no, get rid of that Onager. Don't want that around. So, haven't even talked about Azog yet. The Defiler, again, not named because Azog was killed long, long ago. This is kind of centralising around what should have happened in the time of the Hobbit. Bolg was technically in control, not Azog. And they had a lot of fun destroying the peoples of the dwarves, men and elves at the time. And there was more of an emphasis on wargs back then. More of an emphasis on warg riders. Okay, Azog. First ability, he can mount or dismount. He is the leader of the wolf legions that decimated the peoples, and also were the ones chasing Thorin's company. If you've played the Hobbit game, you'll know a bit more of that, the PS2 game. Then he's got a powerful strike, which is just a big wallop on the head. Or when he's mounted, that ability turns into a leap, where he will literally leap from where he is onto another enemy. It's so fun. Watch this. Oh yeah, it can't be used on cavalry. It has to be used on infantry. But he will leap to that location and knock back anything in the small area he leaps to. Then he's got whip the flesh to the bones, which he will kill a unit of he will kill any warg riders in that aura. So try using it sparingly. So maybe just kill 1 warg, because then all nearby riders near the executed troop receive extra attack power and speed for a short time. And I have checked it. It is everything in that circle. So again, if there's only 1 warg rider in the circle, but the rest of the units around it are not in the circle, they will get big damage. That is a good way to set up, rush into an enemy hero, and execute them. Along with his other ability, the Warg Ambush. So now your enemy won't be able to escape. And I actually noticed with that ability, it's just the same as the Warg Ambush power that you could get for Creator Heroes. I have to see if that's actually been changed in any fashion. It probably has been, but yeah, look at that. They just go around and trample everything, and they hit hard. These aren't just some ordinary wargs. They are fully fledged warg riders, and they know how to hit. Same as that mountain giant does know how to hit. Next, his final ability, Bring Me His Head. He, again, does a big hit on an enemy hero, and everyone around the hero paralyzed in fear. This is the perfect time for it. Azog. Cripple Haldir. Make his men fear. Oh wow, that was a pretty long range. And he summons a bunch of bodyguards to fight as well. Ooh. Units weren't paralysed in fear though. I'm concerned about that. Oh no, I think those elves were. Oh, it might be an... Okay, I get how it works now. So from a range, it's the same as the Orc Bully ability that again, the Orc Create Hero can get. But the Orc area around Azog is a fear aura, similar to how Golden Arrow works. That Haldir does get for Lothlorien. So yeah, the Defiler, very good. Just runs it down, kills a specific enemy hero, and then runs away. He can be really good at executing ring heroes. Could be really good at executing ring heroes. He doesn't just do... It doesn't just run it down with the army and then beat someone up. He prefers to work solo or with a bunch of Warg riders. Execute one of them, and then the rest of them just go around him and get even stronger. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's good to know. So next here on our repertoire are the 3 Troll Brothers. They can throw a stone. They can sit on their ass and knock enemies down. It actually knocked down Phaedra before we squashed him into jelly. Then we can cook some jelly, which I cannot yet confirm, but I'm fairly certain that is a permanent pot that cannot be touched. Watch this. Just summon the pot, and I'm fairly certain that pot doesn't have a health bar. I am fairly certain that pot has no health bar. It can't be touched. I'm fairly certain that it's going to get fixed. It's going to be. I hope it'll eventually turn to something like Bomber's pot, because as that pot is too strong. Just saying it now, that pot is far too strong as it is right now, where it can't be touched by anything. Maybe it disappears if an enemy gets too close to it. I haven't done that much testing with it yet. Let's make another. So yeah, let's have a look at this building here. It has not got its Dragon Strike back. This building has now got a new Dragon Strike. Don't know if there's anything here, but if there are any units there, they are going to die. And again, thanks to Scavenger, any units we kill give us money, and it has to be specifically our units. Anything that we have has to do the killing. But no matter what it is, we get money from it. It is prime time Scavenger. Okay, next. Built on Burt, last 2 abilities. Troll Lair, summon a Troll Lair. They get a bunch of armor when they defend it. You can only summon up to 1 Troll Lair. The Troll Lair cannot summon trolls, it just exists. If it makes money after it's destroyed, we're going to find out. Because yeah, the fact we have Built on Burt means that our units are being healed thanks to that pot. And it's still not gone yet. So that feels a bit strong. I think they're going to nerf that eventually. And then finally we've got the 3 trolls. You get all 3 Troll Brothers together. Or at least you should. Maybe because our command points are full, we don't get... Oh no, we did get them right there. They show us 2 extra health bars that can throw stones. But yeah, another thing to note about the 3 Troll Brothers, the main one you get when you're playing, Burt, just has normal stats. Doesn't have any increased attack or defensive stats. Tom, the snotty brother from the movies, he has extra defenses but less attack. And then Bill, the leader of the group, has more attack but less armor. So definitely more of a bruiser. Yeah, obviously because they're all trolls, you throw pikes at them, they're going to die. So you got to be careful with that. There we go, 10 power points. We've now released the balrog. Watch on the water, I've gone into a bit of detail of in the live stream. I might show them off in the future as well if I don't show them off in this video. But let's focus on the balrog right now. Let's just burn everything. So yeah, I think the balrog right now is overpowered. Because that flame breath can kill literally... Well, don't say everything. I haven't tested it against everything. but I'm 99% sure anything in that fire breath at the point of impact is going to die. It does massive damage. And yeah, it should be feared. The balrog is currently the heaviest hitting unit in the game. Only thing that I think that can compare to him in raw damage is Sauron when he uses his level 10 ability in his ring form. I say that is the only thing that actually is comparable to the balrog. Because right now the balrog just hits harder than everything else and does more damage than everything else. Just raw damage. I've actually tested playing as against Misty Mountains as Imladris, and I had a fully upgraded Elven army. 1 second in that flame breath, it was all gone. 1 second. It did not even last a second, really. It was an instant and then it was gone. Oh, that glitch happened again where they lost their building and then they get rebuilt again. Come in, my legions. Run. Get in here. Oh my god, I haven't even shown off Bolg yet. Or Smaug, and Smaug's about to die again. Bolg, as I said before, his first ability gives you your banner carriers. Second ability, when he gets his bodyguard at level 10, it affects them too. But at level 3, banner carriers and himself get splash damage and knockback. Then he summons his bodyguard, which is technically your elite unit. You can only have 3 of them. It specifies you can only have 3, but you can build them over your command point cap. So remember that for the future. I think they might eventually get rid of the command points on those elites, just because you can only have 3 of them, and you can build them over command point cap. Then he gets his armor, and at level 10, when he gets level 10, he gets those bodyguard around him. So if he dies, the bodyguard dies. But if the bodyguard die, Azog doesn't die, and eventually the Bolg doesn't die, and then they come back. But then here, weakens enemy units by summoning 5 swarms of bats over a period of time. Gives them increased vision for what that's worth. And then other than that, yeah, Bolg's a really important hero to the faction because, as I actually mentioned this, the whole point of the faction. So, when you get the Chieftain, your Moria buildings go up by 1. When you get the Goblin King, your Goblin Town buildings go up by 1. When you get Gundabad, when you get Azog, when you get the Defiler, your Gundabad buildings go up by 1. But then when you get Bolg, all your buildings go up by 1 level. But that's only your recruitment buildings. Your resource buildings only go up in level by over time. And also, you can also increase that by getting the... No. That's it. That's all you can do. They just level up over time and then they get better over time. Gonna try and get that great beast and show it off. Wish I could show off the dragons, but again, if you've seen the live stream, you'll know what they look like. You'll know what they do. And also, technically, the Fire Drake is... You've already seen it, technically. Because it is the old Untamed Allegiance Fire Drake building unit that you can get. It's exactly the same as that. Is that pot still there? No, it's gone. Okay, so it has got a time period on it. And it can't be moved. So that's good. Those are 2 important things to know. That the pot is stationary. It can't be touched. It does heal you while it's active, but when it's no longer active, it does not heal you. So yeah, this is the Great Beast. I kind of mentioned it a little in the live stream, I didn't actually show it off. It's quite small, but it is your battering ram. It is not quite the Great Beast that you'd think it would be. But it is basically your battering ram. Effective siege unit against fortress, gates and buildings. Possesses high armor against, but is vulnerable against melee units. Wait. Possesses high armor. Okay, I think that's just a typo. Has high armor, but is vulnerable against melee units. So ranged units stand a little chance against dealing damage to it. It's basically the same as the battering ram for Gondor. It's very similar to the Gondor battering ram. Okay, the only hero I haven't actually talked about yet is Smaug. And technically the Hunter, but his abilities are very, very generic. There's nothing special about him. I'll go over them quickly. Deal big damage to an enemy, a simple enemy, normal unit. Can't be used on so like an elite unit or a hero. But that also gives him experience. Second ability, you can spy a lair on the map. And in fact, this is the perfect time. Wildman, what can we get? Dunning Warriors, Dunning Axe Throws. Okay, I now know. I've now seen every lair you can get and what they give you. Because there's 2 lairs you can't actually get in from the lottery that you have to get. You need to know about. Then you got the Tiring Hunter. Anyone around him gets slowed down by his trample, but he moves even faster while doing so. So similar to the guy from Iron Hills. Then he makes a wound. Enemy be revealed, deals less damage. And suffers more damage from heroes. So he is a good thing to have with Azog as an initiator. Smaug escape. I don't want you dying on me again. I have to talk about you as well. And finally, he can summon a unit of Warg Riders, which is led by a guy called Thimble. By the way, look at our money, 86,000. I think that's more than what we had in the live stream. And I spent a lot of time talking during that live stream. Oh, that's good to know. Let's just summon a lair to distract them. Spiderlings look dangerous. Wait, why am I still recruiting more warriors? Oh no, I'm not. It's Gorkill. It's Gorkill doing stuff. But yeah, the Hunter's final ability. He summons a Warg Rider unit. Okay, I need to fall back a bit and get some guys killed. Because we can't get Smaug back right now. All goblins, you are to be executed at once. No, I found when I can do it then. You need to be executed at once. And Gorkill, get back on your bow. I don't want you recruiting more goblins for me. Oh, it's these guys I was saying, more goblin warriors. Because we just keep getting more of them. Wait, why is there wargs protecting the spider lair? I know that's a warg lair. Why the spiders are... I'm so confused. There's spiders and wargs around the warg lair. I'm so confused. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of command points back. We can now also get the defiler again. And build Tombert. But not from here. Let's get them from over here since it's safer. Okay. So we get Thimble. Same as Bolg with his bodyguard. If the main hero dies of the unit, then the whole unit dies. And he is quite weak, so Pike unit is an insta-kill on him. Let's awaken the worm. Anyway, we're even going to get to see the Watcher in the water. Look at that. Rash gonna... Oh no, it's a double summon lair. There's a spider lair and a warg lair on top of each other. What? What? Glitch. I found another glitch. 2 lairs on top of each other. That's not meant to happen. And then first we get them both if we have the ability to take control of them. That's fine. Yeah, the worm is, like most monsters of the Misty Mountains, very weak to archers. I think the archer meta is going to come back for fighting against the goblins. I think that meta is going to come back. Get those wolf riders, and because I haven't actually shown them off yet, get one of each of those. And the mountain giant. Mountain giant's the same as it's always been, but I might as well show it off. To say that I did. Summoning the Watcher from the water soon. Just need a sliver of a PowerPoint. Oh, come on. I'm taking over both of these layers. Oh, there's only one layer left. Okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. Watcher in the water. Can't be summoned on units anymore, so it's not going to do that thing that it normally did before. So, quick look at the Warg Riders before they inevitably die. Unlike the Howl of Wargs and the Warg Riders of Isengard, they just only take half damage from arrows and decelerate half as much when trampling. So it's actually better than the Warg Riders, in my opinion. I think these are going to be really good for cavalry. Then Lord of the Pillaging Horde. So as I said, Goblin Towners can summon more Goblin Towners. Another really good ability. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I just stopped myself from getting Azog again. Not Azog, Smaug. Okay, Goblin Towners, you're going to go back into the mines. Did I get the tunnel diggers? Where are they? Here. Tunnel diggers. These guys can dig a tunnel. And like I said, it's exactly the same as with Whoozits. It's exactly the same with the Goblin King with his spawn. Oh wait, no, it's slightly different. Okay, did not know that. When you're doing it, you make a tunnel from where the diggers are, and then you make another tunnel at their location that you're aiming for. Okay, but once you use that ability, they die. So you got to be careful when using them. They build the tunnel, and then it's unstable, so then they die. Okay, while we're waiting for Smaug, let's go over the abilities of the Loot Horde, which actually... Oh, it does decrease upgrade cost. Okay. Feels like it shouldn't do that, but either way. Increase production of all slave hordes by 30%. And you got Impoundment of the Wilderness. As long as the loot horde isn't destroyed, all buildings on settlements will slowly gain experience. So, as I mentioned before, our buildings aren't gaining experience normally. These settlement buildings, they get levels up by units dying in their vicinity. That's the only way they gain experience right now. That's why this is level 3. Because of the fact that we've been doing that, we've had units die in its vicinity. That only works on settlements as well, keep that in mind. And then finally you've got Treasure of the Goblin King. The cost of all your upgrades reduced by 20%. I think that's what this is meant to be for. Okay, Smaug it off your high horse, I guess. Get back onto the ground. Good, good, good. I'm going to double burn these. No, I'm going to triple burn them. I've got 3 Dragon Descents now. This is going to get nerfed. They're going to make it a collective cooldown. There's no way they're going to let this stay as it is. There's no way. That is far too strong. I just summoned 3 dragons to burn the enemy base. And that's leaving fire, which helps destroy enemy buildings. Yeah, no, they're going to get rid of that eventually. Okay, last hero to show things for, Smaug. His first ability, let's find a lair to destroy. Let's make a lair to destroy even. So his first ability technically is his flying descent. But what I meant to talk about is the greed of the golden dragon. Which is Smaug destroys any targeted ally lair and gains experience. And I don't think it works on like these lairs. Yeah, it doesn't work on like the troll lair you make from from your power. It has to be a lair from a settlement, like this one here. Now, if he was only level 1, I think that would have given him like 2 levels of experience because... Oh god. Okay, so when he reaches level 10, that ability changes to... Pugnacity of the Golden Dragon. Appears by the tree of the wild lairs. Appeased. Triggers his anger at enemy fortification. Mean destroys the targeted building. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's use it on that farm. His other ability, Dragon Speech, when he's on the ground at least, makes enemies flee in terror. Similar to the balrog Screech. So, technically he actually has that ability in his ring form. Just to keep in mind. But he does have that in his, when he reaches level 10. His Dragon Breath. His flame opens doors and burns garrison units. That's, again, just specifying when he's on the ground. He has that. Then his final ability, on the ground, Hypnotic Gaze. Target hero becomes invulnerable for a short time, but will not respond to any commands and will no longer fight. So that is the same as, say, the... what's the word? It's the same as the Crystal Prison that the Imladris mages can make when they merge 2 of their heroes, merge 2 of their wizards together. And then when he's flying, he gets his fireball, and he also gets to flap. Yep, that's literally what it's called, flap. So I'll show you what flap does. Everyone move away. This is Smaug's time now. We have a little ember. Going to flap on to the ember, and then that fire is going to start spreading. It'll continue to do so until it makes like a big rhombus-sized flame. Yep, just keeps going and going and going. Yep, currently it's a big square, and then just keeps expanding until that. But unfortunately, as soon as he stops flapping, it kind of just dissipates because it doesn't have any flame left on it. And its final ability is Incineration. Look at that, that did pretty good damage. And then obviously he's got his pugnacity of the Golden Dragon as well. So that's everything for the Misty Mountains, I think. Again, the 4 layers you can make with... actually no, let's get the last power. Drums in the Deep. So what this does is, it basically doubles the effects of the drums of the mountains. But for a longer duration. So all orcs and orc riders are temporarily 30% faster, doing more damage near troll drums. Get a nice little red aura around the drums. I think it worked on all them drums too, I didn't check. But we've now got Mega Speed. Look at that. Our orcs are actually faster than the Warg riders. At base. And then that is GG. Now, I believe it's everything for the goblins. If I miss anything, let me know in the comments below. And first I went over everything for the goblins. So, as a quick overview, now that we've won, unless they put an outpost up there. No, that's it, it's over. So, to go as a quick overview of everything, the goblins need their heroes to make their buildings higher level so they can recruit faster and get some of the units. The Chieftain / Gorkill is for Moria. The Great Goblin is for Goblin Town. And the Defiler or Azog is for Gundabad. Bolg upgrades all of them. Smaug works as a lone cannon. Yes, he's meant to be your faction leader technically, because he's the most expensive one. But I'd say that Bolg is more important than Smaug in 99% of the times. Just because Bolg empowers your army, Smaug is just a one-man killing machine. Similar to Gandalf. Gandalf is really powerful, but I wouldn't say he's your faction leader. It'd be either Aragorn or Boromir. And for using all your different powers, you've got access to more lairs. You've got upgrades to your entire faction. You can expand your base freely, but know that there are limitations on the design of the map. You might not be able to build as much as you want. And also you can't build those extra expansions very much, either because of how expensive they become and the range in which they can be built from. There is actually a range of where you can't build them from. So I'm going to stop rambling now. This has been an hour-long video. This has been a very long video. I'm going to have a drink, pop a whole soother, and I hope you've all enjoyed. I hope I've been very informative, and I will see you all next time. Farewell.